Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the costumeco channel. And today I am so thrilled and excited to have my guest, the costume designer for Dune Prophecy. Her name is Bojana Nikitović. Hopefully, I got it close. Bojana, and you are coming here today. You're in Budapest, I understand.
Yeah, I'm in Budapest. We are prepping season 2.
That's so exciting. But today we're going to talk about season 1. And I just wanted to tell you, first of all, congratulations on your Emmy nomination for the show. And also, I saw that also you won a Costume Designer Guild Award as well. So that's super exciting. So happy for you.
I mean, I'm so happy about it, because that's the award that's been given by my colleagues and professionals. I mean, that was absolutely the dream of mine. So I was really, really happy when I got it in February. It's such a, it's so good to be recognized by people who really know a lot of who are doing this job, and they know how hard it is to make good and quality work and things that are new in a way. So it was such a recognition from their side that this what we did is good.
Yeah, to be recognized by your peers is amazing. Yeah. And also, I just appreciate, by the way, so this is your day off, so you're taking some time to talk to us, which I so much appreciate. Because this is when you would normally be resting. But I know people are excited to know more about the show and about the costumes. But before we do that, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, like, and how you got into costume design?
Yeah. Strangely enough, I decided that I want to do it very early, and I'm so grateful for that, because when you're young and you have many possibilities, it's so good that you decide and you know that you will be doing one thing that turns out to be a good thing for me and something that makes me happy still. And I was about 13 years old when I decided that's it. I would like to go, but I still didn't know whether it's going to be fashion or costume design, because usually at that age you go into you're interested in fashion but it was generally about the clothes. And my parents has nothing to do with that, but I have two aunts. One is costume designer and one was a textile designer. So probably, in a way, it runs in a family. I have a grandmother who was super talented in drawing, writing, any artistic things. So, probably that's something that came to me as well. Then I studied in Belgrade, in ex-Yugoslavia, now it's Serbia. And at that time, I must say, it was very prestigious to get to, because they were, to get to that university, they were accepting like 5 students per year on costume design, and like 100 people would apply from the whole country. So in a way, it was very important to get there, to be able to get there. So when I finished, I worked a lot in the theater, a lot of drama, opera, drama, and ballet. And I was lucky to, as a young designer, I started working with very good directors and actors, which I think it's so important, because then they learn to teach you what is important, what is not important, how to. It was really, for me, it was priceless. The fact that, and there was that I was working with the top directors at that time in my country. And when I was already very experienced costume designer, meaning that I had almost more than 15 years of practice in a different fields. I worked a little bit in a movie business, for movies, but only as a local costume designer who would help foreign designers who would come to Serbia, Belgrade. And then I met Milena Canonero, which was for me, really, she said, so that I'm your lucky star. She was really something that, it was my dream to work with her. And we did a small movie in Belgrade, and then she asked me to come and become her assistant. And that was a changing point. I showed her my work, I showed her my drawings, and that's how we started. And after that, I spent 9 years with Milena. So that was another university masterclass and all together, And after that, Ray Fiennes called me to do his first movie that he signed as a director, which was Coriolanus. And it was amazing experience because we had a tiny costume budget, but we have amazing, I mean, the actors were Ray Faison himself, Vanessa Redgrave, Brian Cox, Jessica Chastain, it was, and we did the whole prep and all the fittings in a room smaller than this living room on my that I have in Budapest. So with one seamstress and with one machine, but we managed to do, to make our own buttons for the uniforms, our own insignia, our own details, our own. I'm quite happy with that, how it turned out, the whole movie. And it was such a good experience because sometimes really you don't need a big budget and you don't need it's always good to have all the sources that you can have. But I think sometimes it's so important to have enthusiasm, talent, of course, and a good team of people around you.
It's funny, Bojana, it's funny that you're mentioning Melina Carnanero, because I just had a friend on and he's a shopper and he worked on Megalopolis.
Yes.
And he was talking about working with her and what an amazing experience. Of course, I'm a huge fan of hers. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of hers. So
who's not? Who's not? I mean, whoever is in the costume design, I think.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. What a journey you've had. That's incredible. Well, actually, now that you're talking about all the buttons and the details, now I'm kind of like, I see what's going on here with this show because of all of your amazing attention to detail, something I haven't really seen in sci-fi before. So, but before we get to that, I just wanted to ask you, before you started this project and came on board, like, were you familiar with Dune? Had you read any of the Frank Herbert books, or had you seen any of the, all of the different iterations of the movies, like the Denis Villeneuve or the, I actually am a big fan of the, with the 84 one. I'm actually a huge fan of that one.
David
Lynch. Yes. Had you seen any of those, or had you read any of the books?
I read 2 books when I was young, but it's not that I went further, and then explored. I like the movie, David Lynch, the whole aesthetic of that movie. And even now when I was prepping, I went back to that because it's so interesting that at that time they had many other problems, but definitely they have a fantastic creative team. And the June 1 was already out when they called me for this job, and that's why the whole world got crazy about the Dune and the books and things. But actually, I started digging more when I got the possibility to work on. Then I started reading like crazy. Then I said I have to, be very well informed, so that I can move through that world well and to be secure. The thing is that I couldn't read everything because there are so many books. I read whatever was really related to our story, and the first few of Frank Herbert's books. But it's an amazing world, and the fact that so many people are big fans and they know absolutely everything about the books and movies and story. It's a big responsibility when you're doing a job like that. You have to, be well prepared to do this well.
Yeah, actually, we had Wheel of Time costume designer on, and she was saying like she couldn't possibly know all of the Wheel of Time books or all of the details, so they had actually a consultant, sort of an expert on it. Did you have somebody on set like that, or on you were able to call on and ask some questions?
Yeah, we could call and for the advice and everything. I had a big help from Tom Mayer, the production designer, who was already on board when I came for a longer period. So actually, and I already worked with Tom before on the movie Papillon. So we did it together. So when we met, I was so happy that that I have someone that I already know and respect so much. But at the same time, when he took me to his office and showed me all the references and designs that we already had, I was like, how am I ever going to catch up with this? But it was a great help to have him, then Alison Schapker as a showrunner, because they were really, Jordan Goldberg, who is her her right hand. They were helping a lot, all of them from studio as well.
So I'm assuming or I shouldn't assume anything, but I would think that you would probably just sort of just take everything and break it down into little categories and more bite-sized pieces, just so your brain can handle it, right? But now, because the show was set 10,000 years before the events of Paul Atreides, right? That must have been a little bit like challenging. So how did you, I mean, assuming, and also you were mentioning that you had consultations with the production designer. So how did you sort of like think about it? Like, how is this going to be 10,000 years before those events?
Yeah, that was the most challenging thing. I said, like, let me think, what is 10,000 years before this moment? And you can't even go so, it's so far away. So,
well, and it's obviously not our history, right? Because if it was 10,000 years ago, we would be like in the caves or something, right?
So it was like, at a certain point, I started thinking, okay, let me see this, like big groups that we have in the history. That's how I try to clear it out for myself. Like when you have that are related either to religion, to some kind of faith, to some kind of civilization. It's not even if they don't change so much during the centuries, because if you see the priests from the certain, I don't know, that doesn't have certain religion, it's not that they changed after 500 years. It's not a lot. So I said, okay, maybe I can explain that to me, that it's some things are not so different. We always have some silhouettes, the silhouette and the base that would be somewhere there, the same. And then from there we are going to create our world, how they look like, completely talking about hair, makeup, wardrobe, and costumes and everything. So it was really tricky to constantly think about this 10,000 years, because it's such a big period. But I think that we found a good balance of in finding our own visual identity, let's say, together in a production design and costumes.
Yeah, and I think once you sort of can sort of wrap your head around that, then you're like, okay, I'm free to do this, because this has never been seen before. Like one of my next questions is, you're working on in multiple timelines on different planets and everything. You can really kind of build that world out on your own and not feel like, hey, I have to be constrained by what we've seen in like Denis Villeneuve's Dune or Frank Herbert's books or what have you. Is that true for you?
Oh, yes. That was also, I mean, the fact that the movie had such a big success and it was visually absolutely brilliant. We all know that. And it was in a way supporting, but on the other hand, I was reading what the audience was, even before the series was released, they were writing like, why they are making this? This is going to be a disaster. That typical things. Oh my God, how dare they do that? So in a way, I was like, oh my God, let's hope that they will like what they see. And after first 2 episodes, it was a little bit, the comments were mostly negative, then some of them positive, but I think it really changed because they needed time to get used to this whole new universe is, and the whole story and how it's visually done. But at the end, I think that they were really happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like Star Wars, right? You're going to have a very opinionated audience, and you kind of have to, like, if you can't go on Reddit.
Exactly. Yes.
Because otherwise it's just, it's a disaster.
No, it's bad. I just stopped at I was like in the beginning, let me see what I said. No way. It's better to stop and not to.
Well, I was a fan of yours from the beginning, so I want to put that out there.
Great.
Now, so I was reading that it says you described that you were using reference materials and mood boards before you actually got into sketching. Like, first off, do you still actually sketch designs? Because a lot of designers don't anymore. Is that something you'd like to do?
I did a lot of sketches I used to do sketches for Milena Canonero, actually, for Marie Antoinette. I did all the sketches,
Oh.
and yeah,
Amazing.
and then I was in the workshop also. But I mean, I'm not doing my sketches, and basically, what I do is I put all the references, and I do the very rough sketch, which could be also a collage of the things. But I like to draw to make that first idea, to put it by my hand, and then I send it to the illustrator that I've been working for years now, Dragana, and she's really talented and good. But then we start with back and forth. I mean, I don't know how she can even stand me, because I'm like, each time she sends me and she thinks that it's a final version, I said, well, yes, but I think you have to change this, and you have just this detail and that detail, and that's how we work. But I mean, I think that process is so important to me too, because through the sketches and through the different levels that you go through and different options that you are doing while you're doing sketches, you come to the one that you really like and that is good to become a real costume.
Oh, can I show this one? This one of Inez. Is this one that she did?
Yes.
It's absolutely breathtaking.
So, but you have no idea how many stages. And I would like, if I would have time one day, I would put them all together. So here you can still see the base of the costume, of the skirt, and the whole costume is nude color. I always wanted that costume to seem like net, like a trap, like to get that feeling that she's been trapped in the whole situation, and this engagement that she has to do with it because of the family and all the obligations. But then when we started building the costume, it didn't seem ready enough for me, because this nude thing, that's tulle that we put.
Okay. Yeah. And here's the actual one
yes,
here.
and here is the red one. I was like, no, it's not red enough. It's not red. So finally, we finish with this one. We finish by making our own fabric, with using the base of silk, and putting another layer of silk that was laser cut in a certain pattern that we designed, and glued with a special technique. You can see here on the skirt, all the waves on it. So the whole thing was that we create our own fabric. And also when we were gluing that second layer, we were taking care of in which direction we are putting it, because whoever was dealing with the costume ever knows that each fabric is taking light differently depending on the angle, and the side that you are using. So it was the whole game. Yeah, it was the whole game.
Because it almost looks like a brocade.
Yes, when
you have like the shininess of the sort of those arches on a sort of a more matte background, like you would see on a brocade, but you've custom made this fabric yourself.
Yeah,
amazing.
We laser cut the big pieces that we design in my assistant did design for that, and then we laser cut it, and then we glue it with a special technique on the basic fabric. But the top part remained. And I think it was so important to show that she is like catched there, and she cannot trapped in the whole situation, and the veil also, and the headpiece as well.
Yeah, I love how, by the way, I love how like they have whales, like, because in our world, the Earth world, we have whale bone.
Yes.
That would have been used in historical corsets, but you actually have whale that's used in her sort of bone corset, and of course her mom would have worn it before her.
Yes, that was also so important. So it shows, that the whole history of those women that are always, lead to go into those arranged marriages that will save the universe or whatever,
I
So,
know. Yeah,
yeah.
women are this is something that just seems to be a through line, that women are always used as pawns, as, as instruments for power. So
Yeah, but
um
the good thing is that neither Inez or neither her mother, they're not parents at all.
no, no, not at all. Yes. Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
very strong
yeah,
female, character driven, and not
yes,
always a good one of the things, by the way, this has nothing to do with costume design, but one of my things that I love so much about the show is that even though a woman can be powerful, it doesn't necessarily mean she's a good character. Like there's very morally gray characters in this show.
yes,
You have the light and the dark kind of thing. So I
exactly.
love that about the show.
Yes,
Um, so okay, so next we're going to maybe we'll talk a little bit about House Corino.
yeah.
By the way, I love Mark Strong. He was so great
Oh,
in this.
yeah. Oh, yes.
I
I
usually
mean,
don't fangirl about actors, but he was amazing in this.
no, he's amazing, and for the costume designer, I think he's a
Oh,
dream because
yeah,
he wears costumes so well. It's
he does. Yeah, and actually here I've got a picture of him.
yeah.
By the way, so one of the things that I just absolutely loved about the costumes House Corino is all of the details you have on the uniforms. And it's actually Daria who mentioned this to me, and you can tell me if this is true. Did you create an alphabet, like a Butlerian alphabet of some kind for House Corino, and then each of the characters would have that on their uniform?
No, no, no. Only. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Only Constantine. We didn't. It
Oh,
was actually production design created that, and they gave us in case we need it or something because they use it in a set. And that for me, it was so nice to put it not on this one that we just saw on a picture before, but that you have in a. This is Corino crest actually on
okay.
song. But on Constantine, on his son, he has a coat that he's wearing, not on this one, but
Sure.
the one I can send you the photo maybe on that one that he's wearing when he goes to the sisterhood to arrange his sister arrival, let's say with Daria. And in that scene, he's wearing the coat that has his initials embossed in the collar, and that was the important detail for us in the costume. And also for the actor was he liked the idea. Sometimes you're doing some things that maybe nobody will notice, but still it's
I love that.
yes,
So
yeah,
then on the collar then is House Carino's crest then
yes,
is what you're saying.
yes.
And then what about all of the that embossing that you have on his coat? Like I was just absolutely obsessed with that. It's sort of like an abstract. It looked like it's buried underneath the fabric. Like, can you tell
Yes,
me a little bit about that? I don't know if I have a better
it
picture of it.
was so important for me. You know what? We really tried to create something new and not just make some sci-fi incredible code, but to make something ours that will be something that we made in our show. In our show, there it's a little bit different than
Mhm.
other things. So this was I put this on the drawings, but I had no idea absolutely how we are going to make it. I talked to my team. I said I would like this other layer. Let's see how we are going to do it, because we didn't want to do it by stitching, because I'm afraid for me, when I see stitching in a shows like this, I say, it's like immediately breaking the illusion of this faraway universe, and
Mhm.
sci-fi universe. So finally, we laser cut the leather in a certain shape. Here we used again House Corino crest and
Mhm.
created the design that we will put on the different jackets of Harico Corino, and then you press. Then you have to use special glue. There are many tests before we came to this solution, and then you press the fabric and you put it until it gets dry under the special press. And believe it's really it's difficult because you have no idea how many times the glue came out, we ruined the silk or the fabric. Until we got the result that we were really happy with. But I think it's a kind of something that people will remember from the show. And
you can patent that design. You can make a lot of money then from that patent.
I mean, we are so. I got during the first season, I got to know things that I really didn't know. I didn't work so much with laser cuts, with 3D printing, and I got so obsessed because the possibilities are actually endless, and you just got into that world, and then I just say to our guy who is we call it like a crazy magician, because whatever I see, Imre, he's a Hungarian basically, because whenever I come to him, he said, Imre, I have an idea, but I don't know how. I said, no, we are going to make it, and then he finds the way to.
Well, that's one of the things I always love is that you have these ideas and then you find these wonderful craftspeople who can bring your vision to life. And I mean, that's really what it is in many ways, right? If they support you, they support your ideas, and they can keep pushing themselves. And it must be so rewarding to have that then be a reality, and then you can look at it on the screen and be like, oh my gosh, we did that.
Yeah, that's the best thing, I think, for in a big jobs like this. You have the opportunity to create a big team, and for me to bring all these people that I know for years. I've been working with all of them for years. From and last 5 years we are inseparable. Practically, we are nonstop working together, and. The thing that we are coming from a different countries, different continents, but we are such a good team and we collaborate well. And in that team, we have a metal department, leather department, laser cut and 3D printing, milliner. Then we have absolutely fantastic textile artists from Italy. We have, beside the fact that we have enormous workshop and brilliant cutters and makers, and then there is a breakdown department, so it's very important one. So before you see one costume in front of the camera, it just goes through at least through like 6 or 8 pair of hands, different that are to get the final result. And I think that's the best thing, and I think that they are all appreciate. We are really used now. We are used to that teamwork, and we already know who is going to do which part in creating the costume.
Now, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the palette. Like, okay, I was saying, I thought that you kind of went with what I call the pomegranate red. Is that what you're going with? And then, but then you have this beautiful teal blue as well. What was your thought behind the palette for House Corino? That sort of feels like a consistent sort of color palette.
Yeah, we really worked on a lot on a color palette for Corino, and again went through different stages, and again thinking about how set will look like and how the costumes will look on the set, which is always so important. So we wanted them to look powerful, because they represent power, tradition. I don't know whether it's the right expression, like old money, and
yes, of course,
which is very, very important. It was very important because then we will have some other houses that will be completely different. So that's why it was so important to use that royal blue, teal, that pomegranate red, and different sorts of red, different tones of red, to a lot of gold details, but gold that is not shiny, that is again the old gold. And we made all the details, metal details, always using a little bit of a tradition and Corino crest, and wanted to show the reality of this and importance of this family. So I'm glad you noticed that. Yeah.
And then also, because I've got a couple of pictures of House Atreides, so then just to show a little bit of the contrast to Atreides as well.
yeah. Kieran is the only Atreides we have in the first season, and here is working for Corino. So he is his sword master, and he's wearing a uniform that is only he. Only he has this uniform, this type of uniform. But he has a lot of Corino insignias because he is a part of his army now and his soldiers. But
oh yeah, absolutely. So he's under the employ of the House
yes,
Corino, so he
yes,
therefore would be wearing, like here he's wearing
yes,
that sort of teal blue color.
yes,
And so is Inez.
yes.
Well, anyway, I love the palette. And as you mentioned, all of the sort of the more muted golds, everything is very sophisticated, right? Very refined and like you say, old money, old, they when in your mind, how old would House Carino have been at this point? How long would they have been around?
Well, one of the oldest. We don't know how old all the others are, but one of the oldest. We are talking about Harkonnens and Atreides and all, but it shows that like at this moment in the history, they are the most powerful, definitely, and it goes at least several generations in the past.
So I want to spend some time on some of the other houses. So one of the other ones is House Riches or
Yes.
Riches.
Yeah.
By the way, it's so funny. There's another YouTuber who refers to this little the character as little short pants.
Yes.
I love it. Like, because you're thinking, how do I dress a child in a very sophisticated costume?
Yeah, I absolutely wanted him in a short
Yeah, or
pants.
Little Lord Fauntleroy. Like that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Little Lord.
Yeah.
So, did you want to tell me a bit, like, because it feels very couture, their
Yeah, it
clothing,
feels very couture, but then on the other hand, it feels very over the top,
over the top, yes. And their
Yes,
name is
because,
Riches, which is like,
yes,
makes you think of, yeah, they're going to be
yes.
opulent.
Because if we want to show everything that they're not, they cannot, I mean, they don't have the tradition, and they're nouveau riche, let's say, if
Yes,
the
not the old.
if the, yes, if Corino are old money, these are showing off, especially
Mm,
the Duke. He's showing off the most,
yeah, I
and
don't know the picture of him.
we went over the top with over putting the gold detail, the shiny fabrics, the ruches everywhere in female parts of the family. I'm sorry that we didn't see them more in the show, but I
Mm.
totally understand that. I mean, you cannot film everything, but I'm quite proud of two of them. They were. Palette was completely different also in this one. Here the mother is wearing more like aubergine, but generally they were meant to be all lavender, different kind of pink, but because little boy died, she's putting something darker. But in the engagement party, she's in a pink. She looks like totally like a frou-frou, she's with a fun 100 layers of tulle and organza showing on her dresses with the long trail, and totally the complete contrast to Natalia, for example, and the Corina
Yeah,
family.
it was funny because in my video that I did about the show, I was sort of comparing them to, the Capitol in the Hunger Games. They're very like,
Yeah,
loud and
yeah,
very over the top, and almost rubbing it in to people, the lessers, the other regions of the Hunger Games. So it's like, just completely very very Marie Antoinette, very
yeah,
18th
yes.
century France,
Yes. We played a lot with the Richese, yeah.
Now in the show, I think my favorite are actually the sisterhood. Like I absolutely love it. And I was thinking, like when I was looking at this show, like I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this must have been such a challenge to be able to do another, like acolytes. We see them in so many fantasy shows and everything. Like, how do I create a uniform for the acolytes or the sisterhood that looks good on many frames, like many body types, that has like a nice cohesive look, and also you have sort of several different color palettes for depending on the sisters. So, do you want to just tell me a little bit about that? I've got some of the pictures here. Here, I'll show you. Oh, maybe I'll bring up a few of these that might make it easier. So for instance, here, like this is sort of, you got like a medium gray.
Yes, acolytes in we had three groups, like we have novices that are light gray. We have
Like these
some
ones
kids
here.
there playing in a certain scenes that these are novices, yeah.
Yes.
Then we have acolytes that are darker gray, and we have reverend mothers that are black. Yes, as you noticed, yeah, this was really the biggest challenge to for me. I have to go back to Milena Canonero again. I learned with her, and that was something that I like so much. I need to have a clear silhouette of the certain costume, and then we can go with the decoration and thing. But I think it's so important to have a clear and good silhouette. And here we were trying to find something that will fit, as you said, to completely different body types, different generations of reverend. We have reverend mothers there. There we have some elder women, and we have medium. We have very young girls. We have even some kids in some scenes, and we have teenage and young girls, mostly in novices and acolytes. So it was the most challenging things to create the costume that will fit good and that everybody will feel good in. And when we finally get to this, they're actually wearing, I don't know whether we can see it really in a series, but they're wearing jumpsuits because they have trousers on the front. And then
okay.
Yes. Yeah. And then from the back, they have the trails, and it looks like a dress. But actually, they are wearing loose trousers, and it's all connected. It's like a jumpsuit, and with the embossing that we did in the upper part, that we were wanting to create the good design for that embossing that is connected with the sisterhood, and it's connected with the necklace that Mother Raquel is wearing. And this is the necklace that after that Valia is wearing. And then we have a little small detail, this brooch, or how would you call it, that is connecting two parts of the costume.
I love that, by the way. I spoke about that detail. Yes.
Yeah, because that's also that's the animal. I wouldn't call it a snake. It's a kind of animal that is chasing its own trail. And in a way, it's also the infinity sign. And then we wanted to show that sisterhood above all. I mean, sisterhood has to stand forever.
I thought it might have been, I was speculating about it, like it's like an Ouroboros snake eating its tail. Yes, but I thought maybe it was a sandworm.
It was all together. Yes, you're totally right. We were, because we didn't want it's not a snake. It's a kind of animal that is chasing its own trail. And with that, we did that all in our metal workshop. And that's another thing that I would like to emphasize, that for me, it's so important that to mix these new techniques like a 3D printing and laser cut, where everything is absolutely perfect, with the handmade things. And I think that when you mix these two things, you get the real good result, because there's something absolutely special with the things that are made by hand. They're never 100% precise. And I mean, when you say 100% perfect, but that 1% of imperfection actually make it perfect. That, at least for me, that's something that I really, really like. And I'm so glad that there are so many things that are made by hand, like all the embossing on the sisterhood. It has all these things.
I love that. I love the embossing. But also, it looked like you also had impressions or debossing. I was trying to figure out what the word is, like around the neckline. So on the cap sleeves, it looks like you have embossing, but that you have like an impression. So did you had it? I've seen that technique done maybe in the prequel Star Wars, but I haven't seen it like. Everything was very different and unique. So did you use similar techniques that you used on the Corino costumes?
No, this was a printing, but it was but we came to that, but I'll explain you what we came to this solution completely by chance. We did the printing that is done with the special colors that are growing. When you do the heating, they become 3D printing. You have a not 3D printing like the objects, but the printing becomes another layer on the fabric. It's
okay, sure, yes.
But then we turn it back.
I have another picture here.
And what you see here, it's actually the back of that 3D that printing.
Oh, you reversed it.
Yes, we reversed it.
You're telling me all your secrets, by the way.
No way. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's fine. I think it's ours, and it's if we can help someone else, I'm glad. I think that there is enough space for new things to come. So this is what we were playing with that, and we were like really happy when we found a way to do this kind of embossing. And
there must have been I know you were talking about you had your breakdown artist, but it must have been quite a dye department as well, because I'm assuming all these beautiful grays that you've done here are they all dyed, hand dyed?
Oh yes, most of them were dyed. Yes, I mean, and that's so important. I forgot to mention them, and they've been working nonstop. I think that I don't have one piece of fabric that hasn't been treated in any kind in any way, before we start to build the costume. Another thing that I wanted to tell you when we are talking about the sisterhood, the big challenge was to find enough quantity of the fabric. We needed the fabric that is good to work on, that we could do the embossing on, because there are certain fabrics that you cannot do this kind of embossing on, and that are not picking that fabric and not reacting well. So we really did we test before we come to this solution, and then we had to find this fabric in different tones that we can eventually dye and get the right one. And then we had to get thousands of meters. Because
oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was literally thousands of meters. I mean, one factory in Germany was working, I think, only for us to make more and more meters of fabric so that we can make all the costumes, because each costume consumed like 7 meters of fabric, which is a lot.
And, a lot of volume. And that, that's a challenge I hear from all designers. Getting fabric is one of the biggest challenges. Yes. Now, can you tell me what kind of fabric it is? Are you allowed to tell me? Was it a blend or is it a wool?
It's a mixture of fabric. It's not neither totally. It's a mixture of natural and polyester. It has to be like that. Otherwise, it will wrinkle a lot and wouldn't react on printing. So it was a real. When we found this one, we were so happy because it wasn't wrinkling, and it was moving so well in the camera. When they are moving, their trails are like flowing, and like that was
beautiful. Kind of like nuns. You think about when nuns are like walking through the abbey or what have you. But one of my favorite costumes though are the training uniforms. I absolutely love them. They felt very I've got a few pictures here. They felt very organic and natural. And I love, like, here you did do some stitching.
Yes,
it looks like.
Yes, we did, but we totally covered with it. They did such a breakdown. Good. I said I don't want to see stitching, but it has to look like we have to have to look like embossing. But we had stitching there, and we were using again this pattern for stitching. It was again designed by us, and we used the details from that. Brooch that I showed you, and we stylize it, and we stylize in a way, and we put it here. And again,
out of it.
I really love that. I love the Prana Bindu are one of my favorites as well, because they fit well to everyone, and the actresses were happy, extras were happy, which is also very important. It's good when you feel that the actresses and actors are feeling good in the costumes that they are wearing, and they reacted well on the different weather things that we had. We had the rain, and there were,
Oh yeah, there was that one rain scene when Valia was out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was also another important thing.
Now, that's the other thing I didn't even ask you about, because yeah, these look so comfy. Like they look so comfortable. And also their nightgowns, their nightwear was so pretty and so
Yeah.
like comfy looking as well. Like I'm like, I would totally wear that.
Yeah, that was such a good, that was such a satisfaction. They were coming, the actresses were coming to the fitting, and there was not one that didn't say, "I feel amazing." We put them pockets on the side, those
Oh, they had
trousers in the
pockets.
front.
Yes.
So they felt so, they were like, they really loved it immediately. Said, "I can sit like this, and I can cross the leg, and I can do whatever I want, and I don't need to think whether I'm exposing something." It was, and the fabric was moving well. I remember Emily Watson coming to the first fitting, and she put the costume, and she changed the posture, and she started walking up and down in the workshop. You see, here she has hands in the pockets, and she was like, "I absolutely know how I'm going to wear this, how I'm going to play this." It was a big satisfaction to get a comment like that from the actresses. Olivia also loved the costumes. I mean, I must say, they were all, when they came for the fitting, they immediately loved it, and that was really important.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, because if you're going, like, say if you're a woman creating an order and you are going to, okay, what is everyone going to wear? It's kind of great to think that this is designed by a woman, as opposed to maybe some other cultures or religions where it's not. It's designed by maybe a man. And so here it's like, yeah, they're thinking about, they're spending a lot of time in these clothes. So what would be comfortable? I love that. I didn't even think about that. So thank you so much, Bojana, for that. But I did want to actually ask you, can you tell me a little bit about the Mother Superior necklace? I don't have a close-up of it, but I was kind of, I was sort of enchanted by it, and I wanted to know if you could tell me about
That
it.
was another important piece that we wanted to show, that is going from one Mother Superior to another. And we first see it on Mother Superior Raquel dies, and then Dorothea and Valia are there to replace her, but then Valia finally becomes Mother Superior. And it was also, we made that necklace using the same pieces of design that we are using for this embossing that we put on the costumes. So and we found that also there were some pieces in a set design that had the same shape that we want, and we used it to create the necklace, which again has a lot of texture in it. It's handmade by our metal master, and it was so. On the other, I had the inspiration for that necklace, but I wanted to be big, but not to be vulgar. It has to represent only a power. And also, when we put it, so we had different sizes. We checked different sizes, and we decided to go with this one. And I think what is really important is that it's giving a light on and adding a light on this costume, that it's also so important, because some of the scenes, and very often Valia is in a dark environment, and she is with the veil. So this necklace really helps to give the light to her face also, and to, which is always helpful.
And also, I didn't mention this, but you've stuck with sort of the silver for the for the sisterhood, as opposed to, like, we were House Corino, you had that the gold, that sort of muted gold. So, but also, while I have you, I was going to ask you a bit about the Throughsayers. I have this one picture here that you had sent me.
Yes, yeah. So Throughsayers, they had to have a different silhouette. Like, we have a sisterhood, and they have the same silhouette in a different colors. And then we have Throughsayers. That are all around the universe, and working for the different rulers and the different how would you say, important people in the different planets. So the most important thing on that was the silhouette again, and the veil. That was like crucial thing that I have to find the right way to make the veil that will be transparent enough so that we can see their eyes, especially their eyes, because they are not talking. Usually, you know how they are talking with their sign language, with only they can understand. So the net that we created, which is already also kind of a laser cut put on a very transparent organza that you can hardly see, and you see here on the side again you have some printing that. You see the on the side the printing on the side of the costume that also refers to the printing that we have on a sisterhood. But the veil itself, the most important thing was really, and I was working with Anna Forster, who was directing the first episode 1, and Pierre Gilles, who was director of photography, and we really did several camera tests to see whether the camera can see through the veil well, and the idea was that we see the net of the veil in the eyes of the actresses, the reflection of it. So the eyes was becoming a mirror to see the net and how they see the world themselves. So that was when we finally came to this solution. We were really happy because I think, and at the same time, we didn't want to copy something that we see also on the movie. So it was our version of Throughsayers' Whale. And it looked, especially on Kasha. I mean, this is Kasha in our real, I mean, she wore.
And also the actors have to be able to see through the veils too, to have that practicality. And can I ask you about that embossing on the side there, which you have also repeated in the Acolyte side? I was like, to me, it kind of looked like fossils or bones. Like, am I right there?
You're right. You're right.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
And especially given the reveal, which I don't want to say just in case someone hasn't seen the show. Okay, I love that. So what was your thought process behind using a bone sort of or fossil?
Well, it will have to do a lot of the things that will happen later.
Yeah. So, okay, we're okay. So there was, it is a bit of foreshadowing.
But it was the inspiration, that I said that I think that it will be interesting because we are talking about the sisterhood and all women there, but actually everything is happening on a very cruel, in a very cruel environment, and a planet that is all gray, black, misty, windy, foggy, and somehow that this bone-looking design, it's fitting well in this sky. It's very harsh. It's the environment totally different than Salusa Secundus and any other planet. So. And actually it was something that I wanted to relate with something that is connected with how Valia started her way in the sisterhood, and how she was ready to do whatever
it takes. Yeah. And then speaking of Valia, so I've also got some of her, like, and again, you've got that, I guess, that motif on her cloak.
There are a lot of bones.
A lot of bones on her.
Bones, let's say.
And you had to obviously you had the height as well, because actually when I was looking at the Throughsayers, it sort of reminds me of an old monk. You might see an Eastern Orthodox monk like with that height, but with her you've done this sort of sort of almost like, I called it like a Kukushnik style.
Yes, it is. It was so important when you say it. It's. I never thought of that, but you're totally right. But it's not that I was thinking about whether it's that kind of tiara and a headpiece will fit back. It was just, for me, it was important to show to be powerful and to fit well the character. And I think we tried with I have a most fantastic milliner that I've been working with more than 20 years, and I trust her widely. And we started with a kind of turban, but we didn't like it. Then we definitely knew that we want some kind of hat piece, but nothing worked really well. And then when we finally get to this shape, we really love that, and how it worked with the veil, and how it worked with the cape, with the hood on her cape. Yeah, and then we did version of it on Sister Francesca.
Yeah, sorry, I've got her here too. So hers is a bit smaller, I think.
Yes, because she's not. Valia is Valia. Valia is the Mother Superior, one and only.
Yeah. Now I wanted to just get a House Harkonnen.
Yes.
I was like, depending on how people say it. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love these costumes. And Mark Addy, of course, I'm a huge fan of his from Game of Thrones. Like so much texture, so like just absolutely loved it. You can see definitely here where the dyers just went to town, the breakdown people. So do you want to tell me before we run out of time just a little bit about this world?
Yes, like Lankaville is another, as you said, it was so important, so interesting, but on the other hand also challenging to go from one planet to the other. They're totally different. So, but Harkonnens was such an amazing group to do, and the whole environment and the veils that we see when in the episode 3 when we get into that world is amazing. So my idea was to use as much as we can so-called veil fur. We all know that veil doesn't have a full fur, but I mean, we created some kind of veil fur and a different types of veil fur that we wanted to incorporate in the costume. Even when we have a Harrow Harkonnen in a present in Landsrad, he is wearing on his shoulder, he is wearing a piece that I wanted that to be like a whale fur. So he's always, because he's nonstop talking about how precious whale fur and whale skin and whale meat is. And so I wanted to, each time we see someone from Harkonnen's family, they have a piece of that on their costume. And the fact that they are living in the planet that is covered with the snow and wind and it's so cold, it in a way it works with that to use that kind of leather and fur on the costumes. So yes, it was so interesting create the Harkonnens. I'm so glad that you are mentioning the texture, because we were working on a texture so much. Look at this, like you see her sleeve, and we dyed that fabric so many times, and then we add a little bit of fur coming out on the end, and also the fabric, the color of that so-called veil fur. I wanted that teal and brownish thing, like the color that we see on the oil, on a fish oil or something, So it has these colors, and we used a lot of these colors on Harkonnens.
I love it. And then I love, actually, Barrow is Harrow, not Barrow. Harrow. Yes. What a ride he is. This looked like a puckered, you want to tell me a little bit about the texture of this fabric?
Again, we wanted to, I mean, maybe nobody will understand, but it's kind of a whale leather or things that we want to use on his costumes that is completely different than anything else. Only his uncle is wearing has the pieces of this on his costume. So it was, look, and this is the piece of fur that he has on his right arm that we put with the metal detail on the end that has
yes,
Harkonnen sign, and he has a pin on his jacket with House Harkonnen crest. So all these small details were very important to us, and his character is so different than any other in the story, and I like.
I kind of think of him as being a bit of a dandy. Like
Yes.
he's very
Yes.
flamboyant. Like look at his rings, even. Like he's got.
I just wanted to say, I'm so glad that we really wanted to create that, and when that came to for the fittings, and he was so happy to wear them, and actually the way he's wearing costume, the way he fits in, it helps a lot because. He can wear that kind of silhouette and that kind of costume. And again, we put that blue, like a sash, that again has this touch of teal that we find in that, let's say, oily. You see that even on the wall behind him, you see that teal color. So it's how it works together with the production design, with the set design, because here we see Hera Harkonnen in House of Harkonnen, actually.
That's their apartments, I believe, right?
Apartments.
Yeah. The production design and everything looks so amazing, by the way, against like all of the palette. Like you were saying, you've got a lot of brutalism in the House Corino and everything.
Yeah.
If Daria's okay with this, I just want to quickly, because I have to talk about is
oh my goodness, I didn't even know
is Desmond. Can we just quit and then we'll wrap it up? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Daria, is that okay? All right. So finally, I wanted to talk to you about Desmond Hart. Amazing. Well, first of all, I loved his costume. So this is sort of like his main costume. He's in several episodes with this, I believe.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you asked, but because this is one of my favorite. Somebody can say it's a simple, it's nothing, but it's absolutely one of my favorite costumes.
I absolutely loved it. And I loved actually throughout the first 4 episodes or so, you see him in different iterations. Sometimes he's got it open, sometimes he's got the jacket off. So he wears it very well. And I love that it kind of is the planet color of Dune. Like, was that intentional?
Yeah, it was, because he's coming, actually, he's a survivor from Arrakis, and he's coming. So he's wearing this kind of colors, and he was in the Imperial Guard. So he has some kind of uniform, but it's very particular. And I insisted really on the first time we see him, I really wanted the coat open, because we see them from the back, and from the front, for me it looks better when it's closed, but when the back, we needed that coat to fly and to see, it was like somehow I just wanted that look, that's like a duster coat from a Western movie. So some mysterious figure is coming, and now he's going to change everything. So for me, it was I wanted that kind of iconic look, and we used that fabric that was originally was like a waxed fabric that I really like to work with. It's very hard to work with that kind of fabric because wax is creating problem, but we unwax it for a bit, and then we dyed it. But the way that fabric moves, and the way it wrinkles, and the way it can be broken down, it's really and be aged well, it's particular. So I think that that was the right thing also for this kind of coat. And then we went to all kind of details, like again, our metal master did the buckles, and our leather master did all the insignias that he's wearing on that coat. He doesn't have any, we don't know his rank, or we don't know his which division he belongs to, but he has he is a kind of, from Corino's Imperial Guard, and he is one of the soldiers. That later, when he becomes a Bashar,
I've got the picture here.
Yes, he's getting the black one, and then he has this insignia and ranks here that you can see on his chest.
So, again, you've got the pockets, though. Look at that.
Yes, pockets work. I mean, Travis absolutely loved the pockets. So that was and we put it by chance. And on one of the first fittings, I said, "You have the pockets here." I said, "Really?" And then I was like,
"Yeah, so thoughtful."
Yeah.
And also, like, so for instance, in this one, you can see underneath, like, it looks so cozy again. Like, it looks really comfortable. That nice, like, sort of
Yeah.
undershirt he's wearing, and he
Yes.
must have been quite comfortable in this as well.
I think it's always so important
Hmm.
that the actors feel good. For me, it's really the most important thing, that to feel that they feel good, and that the costume is actually helping them to create the character better, and not just be showing off how beautiful costumes we can make. So what I would in that photo you see
Oh,
in the
sorry.
background you see
Oh,
all the imperial these are our
yes.
actors, but we take the equal attention to them for the look of their costumes as well. That's something I really like, and I'm totally into dressing the actors, extras. I'm going on the fittings. I'm there all the time because I think it's so important. Also.
Yeah, I love the gendarme sort of style hat you've come up with there, like the
Yes,
French Foreign
that
Legion sort of
we
hat.
created the hats as well.
Yeah.
They're not wearing them always, but they're part of the uniform.
Yeah, and also I just noticing, like, you have female and males, which is, again, really nice to
Oh
see that, not
yes,
just have a
yeah,
male guard, you know?
yeah. They,
Well, oh my gosh, Bojana, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I've learned so much, and I just really appreciate it. I really appreciate also that you being so, forthcoming with all of your tricks and trades that you've done, especially for cosplayers, because I think you'll probably be finding a lot of cosplayers will be wanting to recreate some of these looks, like for the sisterhood and all. Desmond Hart, I suspect we're going to be. Daria, I don't know if I
thank you
think
so
Comic-Con is going on right now, so there's probably people at Comic-Con dressed up.
much. That would be good. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I mean, you're so well prepared, and I
Oh
mean,
my gosh, thank
I
you.
can't even believe that we've been talking more than an hour.
It went very fast. It went very fast.
Yeah.
But so before we let you go, do you have anything, like, I know you say you're working on Dune season 2, Dune Prophecy season 2. Just you're prepping though, right? For
Yes.
that? Okay.
Still.
And has there been anything else that you've been working on, like non-Dune Prophecy
Oh, I've been
property?
working. Meanwhile, I did something completely different, like an action movie with Pierce Brosnan and
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Lily James in German last year, and it was kind of good, to get to
Yeah.
do something completely different. But I'm so happy to be on a season 2.
Yeah. And is the Pierce Brosnan show, is that out yet, or is it coming out
No,
yet?
no, it's not. No, it's
Oh,
not.
okay. So maybe you'll come
Oh,
back and talk to me
cliffhanger.
about it.
I think it will be out maybe
Sorry,
by the
what's
end
that?
of the year. Cliffhanger.
Oh, cliffhanger. Okay, so maybe
Yes,
you'll come back and talk to me about that when
yes,
that's out.
yes, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much again, Bojana, for joining me. And we're talking about Dune Prophecy, and we're going to be very excited to see Dune Prophecy season 2, which I assume it won't be until 2026, because there's, like, you need some time to work on it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and have a great day. Take care, everybody.